In today's episode, we will be talking about mini skirts, knee-length dresses, midi skirts, and maxi skirts. Whew, that's a mouthful. I want to start with the shortest first. I just let you know though that my preference in dress length is a midi dress, so I don't have a lot of examples of mini skirts, but here's a really good example of how this applies. With a mini skirt, you want to have a top 1/3 proportion, a middle 1/3 proportion, and a bottom 1/3 proportion. So in some of the later examples, you'll see that we divide the look into a top 1/3, a bottom 2/3, but in this example, it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So in the top half, we have this copper colored tank top. In the middle half, we've got this cream skirt, and in the bottom half, we have the color of my legs. And that is breaking up the color of this look, allowing for a more visually pleasing aesthetic than, say, if it was a top half, bottom half scenario. For the second look, we have this zebra print dress. This is new to my collection this year, and I'm so happy about it. It is a Ralph by Ralph Lauren 100% linen zebra print dress that I think I will have for many, many years to come. Now with this knee-length dress, I'm not going to make any changes to it because the dress in itself is honoring the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 proportions. Visually, you're seeing a 2/3 top half colorway because of the same print of the fabric, and the bottom third is my legs. However, because we are cinching in the waist with this built-in belt, which I tend to add belts a lot because it is good for proportions, we see a top 1/3 and then a middle third even within that printed dress. This brings up a really good question related to the rule of thirds, and that is, do you need to alter the hem length of a dress depending on your height? And the answer is yes. Now, before we go to the rule of thirds, I really want to look at the hem length based on where it sits on your knee. For a knee-length dress, which is really flattering, you really don't want it to sit much lower than the bottom of your kneecap, and the reason why is because your calf is larger than that small portion below your kneecap, and if you cut off the visual line right at the largest point, it's going to emphasize that. So when I'm looking at a dress, I'm looking at either a knee-length dress or a midi dress, but not somewhere in between, because that doesn't look very flattering on the legs. However, if you see a beautiful dress like this one and you try it on, it's just a little too long on you, note that you can always have it hemmed up, but obviously you cannot bring down the hem. Before we move on to our last two styles, the question I want you to answer in the comment section for me is, what hem length do you prefer? Is it mini, knee length, midi, or maxi? If you'll let me know that in the comments, that will help me tailor my future videos for which hem lengths you really like to wear. This third dress is one that's been in my wardrobe for a few years now. It is the Japanese Go Weave dress by Everlane, and when I first got it, honestly, I was overwhelmed. It was so much fabric. I tend to stick to pieces that are already tailored in at the waist to define my waist and to make me look a little bit longer, but this one was just a lot of roundness. So here's how I fixed it. So looking at it initially, I knew I needed to add a belt. It came with a belt, but it was a black belt, and I wanted to add something that would break up the color of that long black column. So I added a brown belt, and that is going to instantly create the rule of thirds. The top 1/3 of that outfit is the black dress, the middle 1/3 of the outfit is the remainder of the black dress, and the bottom 1/3 of the outfit is my legs and my feet. Now you'll notice with this that the bottom third would be truncated if I was wearing sneakers or something that was covering the top of my foot, but because I'm wearing sandals, it does create that bottom third proportion. Now we already have the rule of thirds applied to this dress, but just as a bonus tip, with midi dresses, a lot of times if you're feeling like there's just too much fabric, if that fabric is the same color as your hair, I think it looks a lot better to pull it back off of your collarbone, because otherwise it can just seem like one large column of the same color. So with my dark hair, anytime I'm wearing a dark color dress, especially black, I tend to pull my hair back just to emphasize focus on my outfit and not feel like there's just too much going on right up front here. Before we move on to the final style of dress, the maxi dress, I want to show you a few more of my midi dresses because they are my favorite style of dresses. And I want you to notice how the emphasis of the waist, especially with belts, is very helpful for the visual appeal of these looks. And also how having the top part of my feet shown in these sandals is going to create that bottom third piece. And lastly, we're going to apply the rule of thirds to maxi dresses. Now, here's an example of a maxi dress that I've had for a few years. It is a cream colored, I think 100% polyester dress from H&M, and it's a slip style. And while I love the sort of boho, relaxed, beachy kind of vibe of a billowy style dress, it's not something I would necessarily wear out and about. If I was working from home for the day and I just had my laptop and, you know, just kind of relaxed and casual, I would probably leave it like this. However, if I'm going out for coffee or lunch with a friend, I'm definitely going to add some style to this by applying the rule of thirds. So first off, I'm going to add a belt to this outfit, and I've really been loving belts for these larger style dresses, and I'll link a few of these belts that I like down below. I know Free People has offered a lot of really beautiful belts lately. I think this one that I'm wearing is from Free People, and also Cezanne and Mango. So I'll list some of those in the description box below. So with this maxi dress, I'm just going to add that belt at the waist, and that's going to create a top 1/3, bottom 2/3 look just within the dress itself. Also, you'll notice that with this, I did pull my hair back because, again, I think it helps to emphasize the look of the dress. Now, you'll notice that whenever I wear my belts, I wear them high up on my waist, because first off, I already have a pretty high waist, and secondly, my hips are pretty curvy. So if I wear a belt lower on my waist, not only is that not going to honor the rule of thirds, because instead of being 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, the proportions will look like top half, bottom half, which just isn't as flattering on most people. But secondly, by adding the belt, I'm creating a line of attention, and it looks more flattering at the smallest part of my waist than the widest part. Now that I've styled this maxi dress, I wanted to show you how adding a piece of outerwear can still honor the rule of thirds with it. So I'm going to add this soft cottony kimono that I've had for several years from Lucky Brand. And because, again, the center line is still showing that 1/3, 2/3 proportion, it's not throwing off the proportions of the outfit any, but if it is, you can simply adjust by wrapping the belt around the outerwear as well. This looks really good with blazers, with kimonos, with sweaters. So just take some of the dresses you've had a hard time styling, maybe something that you don't feel your best in, and play around with belts and accessories to try to honor the rule of thirds. See if that can increase the style value of that dress, and let me know how it goes. Thanks for watching this week's episode of the 30s Guide, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Also, let me know in the comments if you prefer wearing mini dresses, knee-length dresses, midis, or maxis, and I will make a more in-depth video to increase personal style with these key pieces. Lastly, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss the new video every week. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.